Hey, welcome to Front Seat Gamer. No, let me do that again.
I've forgotten who I am.
I've forgotten how to do it. Hey, welcome to Front Seat Gamer. This is episode 156. I'm joined this week by Paul.
Hey.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How's your week been?
My week's been great. I took Friday off, so.
Oh, man. You've
I
been
had a
up
long
to...
weekend. I got Monday off as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're living it. We're also joined by Fabian today.
Hi.
How are you doing, Fabian?
Good.
You've been on before.
I have.
And do you want to talk a little bit about what you do?
I've been on before. You don't need to know.
You don't need
kidding.
to just go back to that episode.
Let's go back to that episode.
Did you have a glossary for the episode that you were on previously?
The episode title was Carcassonne.
Oh yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah,
What
I
do
think
I
that was
do?
a year ago. Actually, I think it was.
Yeah, probably actually.
Yeah.
About a year ago. Environment artist at Grinding Gear Games. Work with Blake. That's about it.
Yeah. What's some notable
What's
things
notable?
you've done recently?
What's notable things I've done?
It's tough because we're all working on PoE 2, so this was an issue with James. Like James came on last episode, couldn't really talk about pretty much anything he'd done other than like stuff he'd done months ago for the leagues.
That was pretty big stuff, though.
That was pretty big stuff. Yeah. Those maps. Those not maps.
Arenas.
The bosses.
Yeah.
Boss arenas. Yeah.
I suppose the most recent thing I've done is setting up the basalt columns for the Lake of Calandra League, but we don't talk about that league now.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks watching players' reactions to it.
Watching Reddit meltdown.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm in any position to really be qualified to talk about it because it's all balance stuff, and I'm certainly not doing balance, and I'm not even actually working on league stuff anyway. Have you played the league much?
Yep, I played quite a bit. Been through 2 characters to maps late game.
Yeah.
That's about it.
What's your builds?
My first character, I don't remember because it was so bad. Second character, Soul Rest Necromancer. So playing with phantasms. That's cool. You just pretty much just run around and everything gets wrecked by your minions.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty good fun.
How about
What's
you, Paul?
Soul Rest?
It's a unique staff that summons phantasms when you consume a corpse.
Yep.
So I just run around and got auto corpse consumption from my helmet.
Nice.
And they just keep spawning around me.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's as automated as I can get it.
How about you, Paul? Are you playing the league at all?
Yeah. I'm playing on PlayStation, though.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I had to wait the extra, until the Thursday
Okay.
after PC launch to start playing.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait until the weekend after because I was actually working Thursday.
Just why you've taken
so
time
that
off
I can
so
play.
You can play. That's good.
Maybe I'll take Monday off too. No.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to take Monday off.
Yeah. Actually, we all should.
Yep. What's the PlayStation experience like? Because I've only ever played on PC. I've never played consoles.
The menuing's pretty clunky.
Yep.
But once you can get around that, our game feels really good to play on a controller. Like playing an action RPG on a controller is just a good experience.
Yeah.
There's certain builds you won't want to play. Anything where you've got to specifically target specific places.
Cyclone's good.
Yeah, Cyclone was really good. Even while leveling, skills like a magma orb or whatever is annoying because you want to target it at certain places and you just can't. But right now I'm playing Summon Raging Spirits, so I don't have to target anything and everything runs off and kills everything for me, and that's wonderful.
Do you find yourself gravitating towards builds more like that, where where you're not targeting specific things? It's just
Yeah,
AoE,
I have
basically.
played a few builds where you had to target a bit, and they're okay. But anything where you've got to be too specific, particularly with like distances,
Yep.
because you can aim in any direction fine.
Yeah,
You can get that quite accurate with a thumbstick, but you cannot get distance. There are things where there's like a hidden cursor. So for some skills where you've got to target a distance away from you, a circle will pop up next to you and then slowly move outwards, and you can sort of kind of target that way.
Yeah.
But those skills just don't feel great.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, how do you solve that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Like, it's incredible that it works as well as it does. With the complexity of our UI and game, and like managing to get that to work on a controller is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, especially because everything has so many options that when you've got like a mouse and menus, that it seems simple.
Yeah.
You just right click something or whatever.
And
drag a currency onto something.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to do that with a controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I think Diablo 1 came out on PlayStation. And I'm pretty sure they just had a mouse pointer.
Oh,
and
really?
just did it that way. So you're just controlling the mouse pointer. It's basically the same game, except it's just a controller with a mouse pointer.
Some games do have that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you can press a context-sensitive button, and then you do get a cursor, so you can click and move stuff. But
so our
still
game
jank.
does have a hidden cursor there too. So like, as you're moving the right thumbstick around, you will target different enemies and stuff. And if you can sort of mentally picture where a cursor is, that is what's happening underneath.
Yep.
And then if you're using Ray Spectre, that's another thing where you've got to target something on the ground.
Yep.
So that you can actually see the circle and move it around. But
it's not as fluid as a mouse.
no, and trying to like raise the right thing with Ray Spectre is just awful.
Yeah.
Do you know any games that like did that well? Like action RPGs on console that are just like feel great to play?
I did play a bit of Diablo 3 on console at one point. And I don't remember having any issues with the controllers.
It did look good to play on because they added the roll, right? So it became a. Do you know what I'm saying? They added like a dodge roll to Diablo 3 on console, so it became like a really active game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only played it for a while. I kind of got bored of it pretty fast because I had played through before, and I was really just playing through again, but on PlayStation this time.
Have you ever finished Diablo 3?
No, I don't think I have.
Neither have I. I always get up to the same spot, and then I'm like, all right, I'll get back to this later, and then I never do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got boring, though.
I did. Actually, I got pretty close to the end, but this was when it really first came out, and there was the gold auction house.
Yep.
And I remember going on there and just like buying all the top gear I could afford with the gold I had, and it made the game like way too easy. I remember just rolling through like, which maybe I can't even remember what act it was. There was an act where you're in a castle in Diablo 3, and I got to that point and I was just like barely even trying to play it. Like, it was so easy, and it made like I remember defeating the boss of like Act 2, with like no effort whatsoever, and I was like, I think I've taken the fun out of this game for myself. Like, it was that thing of like, oh yeah, I'll be so powerful, this is gonna be so great, and it just became like
no,
way
you're
too
just
easy.
Playing for the sake of playing.
Yeah. So I stopped playing then, and like I started again, and was like, I'm not gonna buy anything, and had a much better time.
I'm pretty sure when I played through on PlayStation, it was still the castle that I gave up at.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how far. I don't remember
how far
what
act that was.
I think it's Act 4. You got castle, and then there's like open battlefields.
Yeah. Sounds about right. But I just got bored around there. The Real Money Auction House back where originally was great though.
Was it?
Yeah. I remember I sold a ring for $60, which
What?
is what I bought the game for.
Holy.
So I just got my money back.
Yeah.
And then, like, it wasn't long after that I stopped playing.
Wow. I never even engaged in the real money auction house. Just the in-game gold.
I don't even think my ring was that good. I just remember chucking it up and it sold, and I was like, oh, what the hell? Sweet.
What is that, like 80 New Zealand?
Back then,
It's
it would have been 1.5,
NZ,
right?
60 US, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So, what games have we been playing?
What have I been playing? Lost Ark, PoE, The Division 2.
Oh, right. How's the Division 2?
Good.
Yeah.
Just farming gear sets, making builds. That's probably my favorite thing to do in all games with loot. Just
Yeah.
make builds. Just keep farming gear, just making new builds and trying new things.
Are you playing with anyone?
Yeah, I play with my mate. We both play at the same time. Both are just at the moment trying to collect all the exotic gear,
Oh, yeah.
the special legendary weapons, because they've all got special effects and things like that.
Yeah.
So just build around that and exotic armor pieces and things like that.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. I got a build that I'm working on at the moment that's just like a regeneration build. So it just
Yeah.
keeps, because I get really sick of sitting in cover. I just want to be aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just play a build where my armor's constantly regenerating. And then I've got this backpack called Memento. So when you kill an enemy, they drop this little trophy, and you pick that up, and it gives you a bunch of armor and weapon damage and stuff, and it stacks up.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So that I never played Division 1.
Right.
Is it that game where you're like in a city?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You're in a city.
Yeah. All right.
Descriptive.
Yeah. So it's like, what is it? Like post-apocalyptic or something?
Yeah, pretty much. There was like a COVID outbreak.
It was the money outbreak, right? Wasn't it? Wasn't that the thing? Like somebody infected all these like dollar bills in the US and
Yeah, everyone got sick
yeah.
in the first game, and then it was this huge pandemic, and they couldn't get it sorted.
Mm.
So New York became this like big hotspot for this pandemic.
Yeah.
And they got it all contained there. And then there's these areas in the game called the Dark Zone, which is like where the infection's still raging, and that's where all the PvP is.
Okay.
So when you go into the Dark Zone, you can kill players, you can kill NPCs and stuff, and they'll drop gear. But to actually have that gear for yourself, you have to go to an extraction point and wait for a helicopter.
Oh,
and
right.
get it and kill you, and like then cut the chain when you're trying to extract your stuff and shit, run away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of high risk, high reward. I don't do too much of that.
How long ago did the Division 2 come out?
I don't know, 4-ish years ago maybe.
And it still has like a reasonable amount of people playing?
Yeah, I've got like seasonal
cool.
content and things like that.
Yeah.
So they keep it up to date. It's not, the content's not like the level of PoE where it's like a huge league or anything. They do like weekly events. There was one weekly event called Golden Bullet. So enemies would craft a golden bullet, and you can see like an icon on their head.
Yeah.
When you killed them, you'd get that, and it would give you like really high rounds per minute to your gun and everything. So you just can go on a rampage, and if you keep killing, you'd keep the stacks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just real fun. Make you want to be real aggressive.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like I haven't heard much about it in a while. Like it came out, there was a bunch of hype around it, but I don't think I'd heard it mentioned again for a while.
Yeah, I played it heaps when it came out. Then I dropped it right before the expansion came out. And then I picked it up again this year. Just been playing the expansion and stuff.
It's still good?
Yeah, still good. Gunplay's
cool.
good. Game's like real nice to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, the systems are cool. They've got a really cool itemization and crafting component to the game. So you
Interesting.
constantly want to farm gear to try and get the perfect roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What is it? Is that what is it that like drew you to this game? Then is it that gear?
I'm a sucker for loot games.
Yeah,
I'm a real sucker for grinding and loot games.
because like the games I know that you play, you know, Path of Exile and Escape from Tarkov, they're all like just gear heavy. You're going in, getting gear, getting out.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with like Monster Hunter. You're just farming monsters to make
Oh,
gear.
of course, Monster Hunter. Yeah, it's all about the gear. Yeah,
Everything I play is pretty much a loot-based game. Yeah. Get my dopamine rush.
Yeah, that's interesting. You've been you were playing that new Monster Hunter not too long ago, right?
Yep. There's some new content for that I need to jump back into.
Yeah.
Play some more of that. Hunt the new monsters. Get some new gear.
What happens when what happens when you've got all the gear? What's your end point of one of the of a loot game?
Once the illusion is broken, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's really it for me. Like, I can play and play and play until the point where I'm like, what am I actually even doing? Then I stop playing.
What games have you reached that point with?
Not any of my current ones.
But there must be, were there ones in the past?
Yeah, like Monster Hunter World, I'd play that for ages and all the
Yep.
expansion came out and everything. And then I built all the gear that I wanted and made all the builds that I wanted. And then I was like, what am I hunting for?
Yeah.
Because I had no aspirational goal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd already made all the stuff that I wanted to make and all
Yep.
the builds that I wanted to make. There's nothing else I wanted to try. And that's pretty much where it ends for me.
That's tough because, like, it's fun, right? It's fun creating, it's fun getting the gear.
Yep.
But then once you've got the gear, you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I think the Division 2 their gear system is just really good.
Yeah.
Like, you're constantly wanting to farm items because you constantly want the best version of that item. So a piece of gear drops with a mod that's like always stuck on that. So like a gun will always have weapon damage as their first roll, and then they've got 2 separate rolled mods, and then you've got like mod slots and then a skill on that. So you're constantly wanting to try and get. When I farm for gear, I want to try and get 2 maxed out rolls on the piece of gear so that I can re-roll and optimize the last one to get a full perfect gear set.
Yeah.
For that one item. So that's pretty much just doing that over and over again.
Wow.
So I've got all these things in my stash that are all perfect, but I'm trying to get perfect versions for other things.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How how many more things do you need to get to be? How many more perfect things do you need? Do you think before you go? What am I doing with this game?
I don't know.
But then they might come out with more future expansions. That
Well,
just,
there's some stuff coming out soon. New
Yeah.
gear sets and new sets. So I want to farm those and get perfect versions of them too.
I used to play. This reminds me. I used to play like Destiny a lot, and I think that's got a similar thing.
Yeah.
Like you're always hunting for better gear. You're always doing stuff for better gear. And then they seem to put out. Well, at least for me, because I was more casual, they seem to put out expansions regularly enough where the thing that used to be the top is now no longer the top, and now there's a new top. You know, and that just happens like quite often, at least for me as a more casual player.
Yeah.
So I would always, the goalposts were constantly being shifted of like what I was aiming for.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the same for Division? Like you said, they have since
they don't really have huge expansion updates anymore, because it's just like a small team continuing to make the game run. There's not really anything like that. Like, I've already hit max level, so now when I level up, I get levels on my watch, and your watch lets you specialize slightly into like crit chance and weapon damage and things like that. So you need to farm heaps to push those brackets up slightly. But there's no real, I guess, maximum constantly trying to get the highest item level stuff, because I'm already at max, so it's just now rolling constantly.
Yeah, you're just getting the better stats, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're getting just the perfect stats.
Yeah, just trying to get perfect gear.
And that stuff stays around forever?
Yeah. It's permanent, doesn't get wiped.
Yeah.
So
And there's no like leagues or anything
Nah,
for you to...
no leagues or anything. But I don't know, I think the itemization and division could be something that PoE could lean into. There's just some interesting things that they do there that makes you just really just want to keep farming to get that stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than stuff dropping and it doesn't really matter to you. You're constantly like, I'm trying to find a certain gear set that gives me armor regeneration, but I also want those items to have maximum armor as their main stat, which randomly rolls, as well as trying to get armor regen on that as well, so that I can roll the other thing into like weapon damage. So I have to keep farming and finding those pieces until I find the two mods that I want close to perfect, and then I can roll the other one on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's no currency to re-roll any of the...
Yeah, so you do use currency. So when you...
But only for that last slot?
No, it's for the whole gear set. So when you break down gear that you don't want, you get components from that gear set, and then you can use those to recalibrate your gear, which gives you like little bumps, so you could incrementally improve it over time, or you can just keep farming to try and get better rolls of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just good. It's good fun. The gameplay is good too.
Does sound like it could get quite addictive.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So there's like named gear as well, and they roll with a special talent. So you want, if you're trying to get that named gear with that special talent, that always rolls on it fixed, but then you're trying to get different attributes on it. So you keep like trying to farm that one piece of gear to get the attributes you want.
Yeah. And do you have to farm like a specific zone or something to get that?
Yeah, not really, but you can. Like around the world, there's areas where loot is targeted. So if you need, let's say you're looking for a specific gear set's knee pad, then you can go to an area that all the loot drops there. The targeted loot is knee pads. So you get way higher chance of getting that stuff.
Yep.
Yep. So there's a way to target farm things, which is quite cool.
Is it like a is it an MMO? Are you encountering other
players?
Okay.
You can only fight other players in the dark zone, but you can see other players around. Not so much in the open world, I don't think. Only at safe houses.
Okay.
Unless you're partied up with them.
Okay, but then there's a sectioned off PvP section where you just see everyone.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You can see everyone, and then that's where people can turn rogue and kill you.
Yeah.
And take your stuff.
Have you done much of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. Yeah. Just like wait around, and because it's third person, you can do the thing where like you hide behind a wall, right? And
you can see
peek around.
Oh man.
But they can't see you, and then you go rogue and run out and kill them and take all their stuff.
Go rogue. That's that's cool.
But they know when someone near them has gone rogue.
Oh yeah.
Their little AI that's on their character tells them there's a
rogue
rogue agent nearby. So they're on the lookout for you as well.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't know. Have you played any Destiny?
Yeah, I played Destiny.
Yeah.
I played Destiny 1. I played heaps of Destiny 2. But I just stopped.
Okay.
Because the PvP wasn't good.
Yeah, the PvP in that is not great. I mean, it's all like just sectioned off, like games, really. Capture the flag or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, that game had really annoying jumping puzzles.
Yeah,
I hated the jumping puzzles in Destiny, so I liked the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I get so salty about the jumping puzzles.
Oh, actually, I do remember because I think every class had a different jumping mechanic.
Yep.
Like one class has a jetpack, and I have a class that just has a double jump, and it makes stuff so much easier.
I played the double jump one as well, I think, but I kept just like going past the platform because the single jump would be too short, and then the next jump would be too far, and I would just be inept at jumping.
I definitely remember like as my double jump character, like being able to like traverse those kind of jumping platform stuff a lot easier than my mate with the jetpack.
Right.
Like he'd seem to just like fly by and crash or something. Yeah, it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed easier. Like double jump just feels more natural to do to me than whatever the jetpack was.
I was not natural.
Yeah. So what have you been playing, Paul?
I've just been playing PoE.
Yeah.
I do want to go back and play more Cult of the Lamb, but once I'm done with the league.
How far through Cult of the Lamb have you gotten?
I did beat it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I beat it up, but I only beat it on medium difficulty, which is the default one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back and start it again on hard.
Oh, wow.
Because it feels like a lot of that town stuff would be really interesting if more was going wrong. I had a few cases where things started to go sideways, but the difficulty was too easy, so it was too easy to correct.
Oh, yeah.
What do you actually do in Cult of the Lamb?
So that's like a half dungeon crawler roguelike kind of game. And then the other half is like you have a cult and you're trying to like do city building-ish sort of stuff. It's more people management than where you're trying to make sure everyone's happy and worshipping you. And
they give you resources that you use to upgrade things.
Yeah.
Right? Like if the more followers you get, the more like what is it? Is it just called worship? I can't remember. But the more resource you get, that then you spend on upgrades and tech and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And there's two different things there that you're trying to unlock, and both of them are powered by the number of followers you have. And then to keep everyone happy, you need to have like enough beds, and which means that you're like trying to keep the resources up, keep food up.
Yep.
And then putting people that dissent in prison.
You need to pick up their poop.
Yeah. But if you go into the dungeon and then like have a bad run and lose that round, when you go back to town, your followers will be pissed off at you, and so it's just an interesting balance of trying to keep everyone happy and then get through the dungeons, and I really liked it.
Sounds cool.
Fun game.
We talked a little bit last week because I've still not played much more, but you mentioned that the dungeons get like more complicated.
Yep.
Because I've only gone through the first few, and they're just like a few rooms, and then that's it. But like, how many branching paths are there? Like, does it get? Do you have to like backtrack and do all this sort of stuff?
You never have to backtrack more than a room, but you will have more branched off rooms that have like nothing in them or just enemies, or as opposed to, I think early on, anytime you go off the main path would be of the tarot card room.
Yeah, it's a tarot card.
I think the paths you can choose might start getting more complicated on higher difficulties too. But you definitely get more nodes per dungeon in some of the later ones.
That's good. Yeah, that's a cool game, but I got totally sidetracked playing a different game.
Farthest Frontier.
I was playing a game called Farthest Frontier. I was gonna wait until Nick comes back to talk about this, but like he's still away for now, so I can talk about it. It's a full-on, village management sim where you are assigning. You have a bunch of people. You start off with a group of people, and they've got some basic supplies, and you plop down a town center, and then from there you're building houses for them. You're building like resource gathering stuff for them. You're trying to maintain their happiness by supplying them with the facilities that they need and the objects they need, like soap to keep them clean and like pottery to like, I don't know, it's fulfill their like happiness kind of thing. And it's one of those games where it's like the resources, it's a resource chain. So you have like so you have like you have like wood is a simple resource, and then you need wood to build houses, but you need wood to like chop firewood, which you need to warm the houses. Otherwise, when the winter comes, all your people will freeze to death. Yeah, which has happened to me a few times.
Did you ever play Frostpunk?
No, but it's along that line. Okay. Yeah. Did you played Frostpunk?
Yeah, okay. I really liked that.
Yeah,
because that's from the same people that made This War of Mine, I think.
Oh, was it? Wow, that's a different game. That's a different type of.
But they're both equally depressing if you play them. Yeah, it's like the dark version of city management game.
I was interested in Frostpunk, but it seemed like one of those. It felt like the Darkest Dungeon version of village management kind of games, because it just seemed like I was always gonna. It's just this encroaching, like it's this encroaching winter, right? That you just are constantly fighting against, and it just feels like you'll lose eventually. It's just how long do you last?
It's a little bit friendlier than that, but it doesn't feel like it while you're playing it.
Oh yeah. That's
like
what
you can get through it. Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking of it like Darkest Dungeon, because it just feels like at no point in that game do you feel comfortable.
Yeah, you really don't. Yeah. But they did do a good job of making you still want to play and get through further.
That's cool. I should give that a go, really. But this Farthest Frontier is really it's probably like I think I've played a lot of these village management games, and this is definitely like the best one.
Oh, really?
Yep. there's a game that is very similar to it that came out like years and years ago now called Banished. And I actually think I talked about this on the podcast like 2016 or something, like ages ago. And it's the same kind of thing of like you have villages to keep happy and keep alive, and you assign people jobs and that sort of thing. But what I like about Farthest Frontier that Banished didn't is that in Banished I would get to a point where the town is self-sufficient and everything's running well. Like there's enough food for people, so there's enough people making food. There's enough resources being gathered to create the things that keep people happy. Everything's fine. Like, there's enough clothes and there's enough firewood and it's all good. And then I get to this point where I go like, well, what now?
The illusion's broken.
The illusion is broken. It's the exact kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's all the fun is getting to that point, and then once you reach that point, you go, well, what now?
Yep.
And I guess you just like make more. Like, so I guess I'll just add more houses and then add more farms, and but at that point you're like, well, I feel like I've won.
Yeah.
I feel like I've beaten the game. And Farthest Frontier, I've been playing for like 2 weeks now, and I'm on my 5th game after disasters.
That's a good sign, actually.
Yeah. My first town actually did all right, but it got you have to deal with increasingly large attacks by bandits. And my first town was just getting overrun by bandits constantly.
Okay.
So I gave up on that one, and then like my next few towns, everyone died in the winter. And now this one is like this one. I strategically placed my town center in a place on the map that I'd already I could see where I would build walls to keep the raiders out.
So you can build walls.
Yeah, so you can build
defenses
walls.
And stuff
and
against the
defenses.
bandits?
You can recruit people to the army, but they of course are taken out of your population pool. So if you've got like 30 people and they're all got jobs, and you build a barracks, you got no one free to be soldiers, so you've just got an empty barracks, and you have to so then you have to build more houses to attract more people so that you can assign people to be soldiers, but then more people means more food is being eaten, more firewood is needed. Like everything has this like run-on effect,
and they've got the balance of that.
They've got that really, really good, and they do this. So what I was saying was that the reason Farthest Frontier, the reason I haven't gotten to that point where it's like, well, everything's fine, is because of the bandit attacks. Because they get increasingly larger, and so it forces you to add more population, build more defenses.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they're on like a cycle, but it's like every 3, maybe 5, no, maybe like every 3 or so years, these bandits attack, and there's always like more of them than last time.
Yeah.
And so you always know that's coming. So you always need to build towers, and you need to build walls, and all these things cost resources. So you need to make sure you've got all those resources coming in. Yeah, it's great. It keeps you going. Whereas like Banished, you just get to that point where everything's fine, and then that's it, because there's no outside force that's like attacking you all the time.
The bandit thing's quite a cool idea. Especially because it's going to keep forcing you to expand.
Yeah.
As it.
Because you need to, when you build you can build walls, that's fine. They just cost wood and then upgrade with stone, whatever, that's fine. But, and the bandits will just attack the walls and eventually get through. So you need to build towers behind the walls, to fire arrows at them. But those towers need to be manned by people.
Yeah.
So actual people. So you need to make sure you've got enough population to man the towers. So
can you do like mazes with the walls?
You can, yeah. But they also just kind of charge through. I've noticed if you put a gate in a wall, they tend to go for the gate. Like, I think the gate is weaker, like less hit points than the wall.
That makes sense.
So they go for the gates, I've noticed. But you end up creating tiered defenses where right now I've got one wall, and then there's a gap, and then another wall, and then my towers behind that, and my towers within that wall have walls around them. So they've got to get through basically 3 walls to get to the tower. And the bandits, what's cool is that the bandits don't just attack any old building. Like, I have played these kind of games where you do every once in a while get attacked by monsters. And they'll just attack whatever is in their path, no matter what it is. These bandits, they don't do that. They specifically go for, they specifically attack buildings that store resources. And then when they've, the mechanic, I think, is that when they damage a building enough, they then take those resources. So those resources are removed from your store. And then the bandits run. They don't, they leave. So there's times where I can have enough food to last the winter. I get a bandit attack. If I don't manage to kill them all and they escape with food, suddenly I'm like, shit, I don't have enough food for the winter.
That's pretty good.
It's all downhill from there.
And it's all downhill. That's definitely, this is what happened in that first game, was that I was constantly losing food to bandits, losing food and people, because they'll attack the people. They will kill your population if they encounter them. So when they are attacked, you can, ring the town hall bell, and they all go and garrison in the town hall, so they're safe. But they'll still kill people along the way. So when you lose people, then it's like, okay, now I've got less people to assign to these things, farming or hunting or whatever. And it's like, if you're on a low population, if you're just getting by, if you're just making enough food to last the winter, and you lose 3 hunters, and the bandits steal all your food for the winter, and now you've got no food for the winter. Winter's coming up. You're down, half your food gathering population is dead. It's a pretty dire situation. Yeah. And so
do you know how many more bandits will be coming in each wave? Or have you just learned that through experience?
I don't know how, there must be a way to figure that out, but I don't know how you know. It starts off with maybe 4 bandits, easy. And the first few times they attack, you don't even need walls, because you can garrison your guys in the town hall, and they'll shoot arrows out of the town hall. And they'll just kill the bandits from there. The arrows as well are a resource that you have to make sure you have people making enough of. Which require, wood. So you have to make sure you've got enough wood to supply making weapons and firewood and building and anything else that requires wood. But it's great. It's a game that normally these games I see the end, like you were saying, of your loot thing. But this one is I don't know when I'll say I'm done.
You've got constant threats, so you're constantly having to manage
everything.
And just recently, my current town, my 5th town, is the best one that I've had so far, and I've created walls. I've strategically set my town hall down in a good defensible place. So I built walls around it in a very small choke point. So it's kind of on a peninsula, basically, where they can really only attack me from one direction. Because other games, I just plopped my town down in the middle of a field, and they're attacking me from all directions, and every time it's a different direction. And it's a huge drain on resources to try to protect this wide area.
Yeah. Do you have worse access to resources because you're in a more defensible position?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
that's a better trade-off.
Yeah, it's a better trade-off because the resources that I do gather don't get pillaged.
Yep.
And all my storehouses are behind the walls. So out in the like I've expanded out well beyond the walls. But that's all like farms and resource gathering things and like stone cutters and all this sort of stuff. And they bring all the resources back behind the walls into the storehouses. So when the bandits attack, they go for the storehouses, which are behind the walls. And
so they leave all the farms alone.
They'll leave all the farms alone because there's nothing being stored in the farm. It's just a field. The farm is just a field, and then when the field is harvested, it gets brought behind the walls into the storehouse. They will sometimes take stuff from. There's some of the food like hunting and fishing. You can create a smokehouse where you put the meat and smoke it so that it lasts longer. Because there's this whole thing about food spoiling. Like food just doesn't last forever; it'll spoil.
That's pretty good in a village management. game.
Yeah, and it's the only one I've ever played that has that. So what you see in your like Banished, I think food did spoil in Banished, but like you could just. I don't know if it was like realistic because like you could just I remember in Banished just having like so much food that I never had to worry about it. Like my storehouse was just incredibly filled with food, and like I think some of it was going rotten, but it didn't affect me at all. In this, the way they display food is not in like how much you have. It's how many months worth of food you have.
That's pretty good.
And then next to it is a red number that shows how much is going to go off, how many months worth of food is going to go off in the next 12 months. Yeah, so you just basically see like it makes you think like so like in Banished you want that number to be super high. The higher number you have, the better, because the more food you have. In Farthest Frontier, I've never really gotten that number higher than like 18 months. And if you're like 5 months is like, if you have enough food to last 5 months, if you continually have enough food to last 5 months, it's fine. Like it just keeps going. And so, yeah, you're not really like panicking because you don't have enough food. It's more for like once the winter comes and very little food is getting made, and the winter is only 2 or 3 months. If you go into the winter and you've got 5 months worth of food, you're fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you get pillaged.
And then if you got 1 month, like you go into winter with like 1 month's worth of food, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like that system of just showing how many months of worth of food you've got, because you then look at like how much food you've got, and it's like, oh, I've got like 200 carrots, you know, like showing an actual raw number of how much actual food you had would be in the thousands, and that's just unreadable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that means. Like,
and you only really care about how long it's going to last.
Yeah, how long it's going to last. Yeah. And I just really like that.
I can't remember what Frostpunk did for food. Like, I know you did have to manage storehouses of food and manufacturing of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the units were. I think I would potentially even like the game you're talking about, because I did like Frostpunk.
Yeah.
But I don't typically like games in that genre because for the most part it feels like there's not a point.
Yeah.
Other than expanding, whereas Frostpunk was really a struggle for survival.
Yeah, yeah.
The worst thing's when you get, like you're saying about Banished, where you just get super comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, I've got so much resource.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like There's lots of games like that. Like Minecraft is the same. Like almost all survival games are like that. The struggle is the most fun, and then once you overcome that, you're like, I'm done. Like there's nothing left. And I think Farthest Frontier so far has avoided that by having these increasing raids. Like I've gotten, I don't know how big these raids get, but there was one game I was playing where I'd constructed this wall on a hill and put towers up there. And the elevation matters as well for the towers. When you put one down, you'll see a radius of like how much damage it's going to do around it. And the higher elevation, the higher the number, you know, it's got an advantage. So I had these towers all up on these hills, and I was like, this is great. This is like an impenetrable thing. And then when I got attacked by raiders, I looked at where they're coming from, and I was like, holy crap, it looks like an army just like coming down from like it was like multiple waves just like coming down at me, and they just blitzed through this like this wall and towers that I thought were like going to be impenetrable. Like they just blasted right through that. And also just like recently in the game that I've been playing, even though my layered walls have been working so far, the last time I got attacked, they busted through all 3 layers. Oh, and I was like, uh-oh, this is the next attack. I need to get ready for the next attack. So
do you reckon it was more people? Are you further now than you were in the one where you saw the army? Was it another army that you're up to?
It was, I mean, it's definitely the largest group I've seen so far.
Yeah.
It probably is about the same amount of people. But some of the guys that attacked me got hung up fighting my soldiers around the barracks, because I constructed the barracks outside of the main wall, and they go past it on their way to the main wall, and so I've got soldiers garrisoned in there, and they'll just shoot arrows out, and I've got like 6 soldiers in there, which is just like blasting through people. So a good chunk of that army got hung up fighting, though, like trying to bust through those, and probably like, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the army got to the actual walls, and they just barely got in, and they started running away, and I just killed them before they got out. So like I luckily didn't lose anything there, because I killed the guys before they could once they like leave the map, basically.
That's when you've lost.
That's when you've lost your resources. You can't get them back. But if you can kill them before they get there, you just a villager will just go and regather your resources. So that means now it's like, okay, so I'm gonna need to I'll upgrade my walls to stone, because they're just like wooden palisades at the moment.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll just build. Maybe I don't know. Try to figure out. Maybe just build more towers or something like. Or because I don't have any more room for any more layers of walls, because I've got all farms and houses and like production facilities like out beyond the wall, and there's no room to build like walls. I'll have to bulldoze houses.
Spam more barracks outside to slow them down.
I could try that, but
because you said it got rid of 1/3 of the total bandits.
Because the barracks are like pretty tough, and you can garrison. How many do I have? I've got 6 guys in there. I think you can get like 8 guys in there, and the towers you can get 2 guys in. So I've got like
just barracks all the way around.
Maybe just barracks.
Replace your walls with barracks.
Do like Age of Empires strategy, and it's just castles, a wall of castles. Yeah, I'll just do that. But yeah, and also like, so like, I'm gonna need like more population, right? Because I don't really have enough population now to do the things that I need to do. Like upgrading walls, is all fine. You can just select all the walls and say to upgrade, but laborers need to, or builders maybe need to actually physically go to them and upgrade them. Like your little guys have to actually like go and upgrade them. And I've run into problems where I've got too many construction projects happening at once, and none of them get built because like I've only got a small pool of like workers. available to build these things. And if I've got like 5 or 6 of these things going, like buildings, I put 5 or 6 buildings down, they all get kind of spread out between them and everything takes forever.
Yeah.
I was running into that problem in that game where I was saying that I got attacked by this giant army. It seemed to take forever to build anything. It was the game where I was like, all right, I know this. I know what I'm doing now. This will be great. I'll put these down, boom, 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 put down all these buildings, and then was like, all right, cool, wait for these to get built. And I was just waiting like years in the game for these things to get built. I'm like, what is going on? Why is it taking so long? And I realized it was because I had like 3 people trying to build like 8 things at once, and like nothing was happening. It's great. So the actual human jobs are a thing to manage as well, because you need every production facility you put down, you assign workers to, and that. But you also just start with a pool of workers who are kind of unassigned to anything, and they're called laborers. And what they do is like they'll go around and just like gather. They'll bring resources from one place to like a building site. So if I select a bunch of walls and tell them to upgrade, it'll be laborers, I think, that will go and like collect the resources from the stockpiles that I've got, bring them to the walls, and a builder will then build them or upgrade them. So you have to make sure you've got enough unassigned people really to be able to just do these tasks to kind of keep the whole thing running. So you
always need a surplus.
Yeah, you always need a surplus.
Just people not even assigned to anything.
If you assign everyone to a job and you put down a building, it's not going to get built.
Yeah.
Because there's no one available to build it. Everyone's in the farms, everyone's chopping wood, everyone's like, hunting or whatever.
Are there many things that the just general people, the laborers, have to do?
I did look up, like, at the start, like, I think I went through a tutorial and it told me, and it was like, I'm pretty sure it was things like they will chop down trees and mine stone that is, like, in the way of things. They'll build roads, and you can lay down roads, and I think they're the ones that will build roads.
Yep.
But it was a thing of, like, they will take resources to and from things. And they will repair stuff as well. Like, your houses get damaged over time, and laborers will. Those are builders will do that. So you have to make sure you've got enough builders assigned.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the laborers do, but it's like basic stuff that keeps the town running.
Yeah.
Like without them. I think resources will just pile up in the facility that like generates them.
Can you specify that a certain amount of people need to be left behind to do that? Like, how do you go about reassigning people?
You have a big spreadsheet basically.
Okay.
You have a big spreadsheet that shows all the jobs that you've got. You got hunters, fishers, miners, farmers, whatever, soldiers, that sort of thing, and then you have the pool of people, laborers, right? So when you unassign someone a job, they just go into the labor pool. So there have been times.
So it's just what's unassigned.
Yeah, it's just what's unassigned goes into the labor pool. That's it. And so once I realized in this game that I just had too many buildings happening, I would go into that thing and unassign a bunch of jobs, and that would just go back into the labor pool, and then stuff started like getting built faster and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, you have to manage your people, but then it's a balancing thing, because like if you unassign too many farmers, you're not going to get enough food. And with the whole resource chain thing, you can be like, I've got heaps of like wood. That's fine. I can unassign a load of like woodcutters, get them to do something else, or get them to be laborers. That's fine. And then next minute you notice that you don't have enough firewood coming into the next winter, because the firewood choppers are just chopping firewood continually as their job, and they take the raw wood that is harvested, turn that into firewood, and the firewood is constantly being used by the people in town. So you just have to constantly have a supply of it. And so you might think you've got a lot of wood sitting there, and if you unassign a bunch of people, maybe you unassign too many, and the amount of wood that's required for like firewood, suddenly you don't have enough being generated.
All your people just freeze.
Yeah, people will just freeze to death, and that's what's happened to me. Like in the past, it's just people just froze to death. In games where it's like I laid down a load of buildings and was like, cool, this is great, and then by the time winter comes, none of those buildings have been made. No one's been able to chop firewood. I'm like, oh shit, everyone just dies.
Can you get people out of burning wood for fuel? Can you upgrade like houses so that it's more insulated for winter?
Is there like an age system?
Yeah, there's a tier system. So I don't know if you ever get out of firewood. There's 3 tiers, and I've only gotten to the 2nd tier.
Yeah.
Is it the 2nd? No, I think there's 4. No, there's 4 tiers. Is there? Yeah, there's 4 tiers, and or maybe there's just 3. I can't remember. Maybe I have gotten. Yeah, okay. No, there is 3 tiers, and I've gotten to the 3rd one. Maybe there's 4. I don't know. But either way, I've actually not gotten to whatever the last tier is. I think I've gotten to so the way you go through these tiers, similar to Age of Empires, I guess. Once you fulfill enough criteria, you can upgrade your town hall, and then your town hall, then once that's upgraded, it unlocks the ability to build more advanced buildings. The houses will then people's homes upgrade themselves, and once the homes the homes have a bunch of like criteria that they have to fulfill in order for them to be upgraded. And once they reach that, they'll upgrade, and that makes them better. They'll generate more tax. I think maybe they'll be better insulated, so maybe they don't need as much firewood.
Yeah.
Things like that. Then you have to so you have to like fulfill their needs as well. And one of their needs is desirability, which means the location that they're in is beautiful.
So you got to do all the decorations. So
you have
and stuff
have to use all the decorations, like because there's so many games, right, where you have a load of decorations that are really just meaningless. You don't even need them to actually build the city. But in this, it's like
got to make nice suburbs.
You got to make nice suburbs. You got to put down parks. You got to put down schools nearby as well. That's a thing that will increase the desirability of the area if you put down a school.
Yep.
And mostly parks. Like there's I actually have made suburbs because like the area I started with was pretty limited in space, right? And I kind of did that on purpose, so there's less sort of area to there's a small area to defend.
Yeah.
But it means that my first initial set of houses, they just filled up the space, so there was nowhere else for them to go. So a little bit further away, started building new houses around a market. So you put down these buildings that are markets, and what they do is actually I think it is the laborers will bring resources to that market, and those resources supply the houses in the area. So so
you kind of want suburbs.
Yeah, so you actually do want suburbs. Which means that like if people are living far away, they're not traveling all the way to the to like the food storage places that I've got in my defendable wall section.
Yeah.
Because travel distance has a thing. Like people won't be able to supply themselves with like enough resources or food or or whatever if the travel distance is too far.
Yep.
Like it'll just be coming up saying like not enough, not enough firewood here, and I'll be looking at my how much firewood I've got. I was like, what are you talking about? I got like 200 firewood. Like there's heaps of firewood. It's all in this it's all here in this stockyard that's like miles away from the.
It's got like one little dude just trying to walk.
Yeah.
Gotta get this firewood.
So they spend all day walking back and forth. So what you do is like there's a market that you plop down, and that will get filled with resources that then the people that live in that area will just go to that market.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. I didn't actually realize that.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, because I was worried about like there's another game I was playing called Foundation, which is another city builder, and they have a similar thing, right, where you have to supply people with goods and stuff, but like they don't. You're always thinking about the travel distance between stockpiles and the thing that needs the stockpile, and then the travel distance between the thing that, like, so like bread, for example, in this game, Foundation, you will create farms that make the wheat for the bread and turn that into flour, and that can be all made near the farms, right? So the travel distance between for someone working in the mill to the farm is very short, so they can make the flour there. But then someone who turns that flour into bread, you could put that right next to it, and the travel distance there is fine. That's real quick. But then to supply the town and the people in the houses with the bread, you kind of want that bread maker to be near the near the houses. So there's this. I always with that game, I always end up being like, trying to like have a halfway point where I can put a bread shop kind of thing, like it's halfway between the houses and the flour kind of like production thing. Yeah, the mill. But in this, that's all just done for you. You just put down this market, and it automatically gets filled with the resources that they need.
And you got those storage things, I'm guessing, for where the market gets the flour from or the bread.
Yeah. There's the food storage stuff, and there's like the big storage warehouse thing that I've built that's behind those walls. And so like laborers will take resources from that and fill up the markets for the people.
So do the markets generate you currency as well?
They do. They generate they generate currency. So it shows how much they generate tax,
Yep.
So you put them down, and then you start getting like money every year. And they also generate desirability for the people living there. So their desirability goes up. And once that desirability reaches a certain point, that quota, I guess, is fulfilled in their like list of things they need to upgrade. Yeah. And then once all that is once those things have been fulfilled, then they'll just automatically upgrade, and then they got a whole new set of things that they'll need to upgrade. Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. There's a lot of complex systems there.
It's great. I love it. It's
It does actually sound like they've done a good job.
Yeah. There's one thing I don't like. Well, it's not that I don't like, it's just I think it could be better, is their road system. Their road system is really great. It has the whole like, it's basically just SimCity. You put down roads on a grid.
And
but they can
move
also
faster on roads.
Yes. And you can upgrade the roads to stone and all that sort of stuff. And they will also bend, like you can create curved roads as well, which is quite good. But that game I was talking about, Foundation, its road system is just based on where the villagers walk. So the villagers, if you say, okay, I want there's a building, I want to put a building down over here, the villagers will then take resources to that building and start building. And the path that they travel along to get there, the more people that travel that path, it becomes a road.
Yep.
And so the roads are just all kind of like generated
Hmm.
Do you remember you played some Death Stranding, right?
No.
No?
No, I did watch a little
Okay.
bit of someone else playing it, but
There's a system in there that if people, because it's sort of semi-online, there's a system in there that if enough people travel the same path, a dirt road is generated.
Yep.
And it's that kind of thing, and it makes villages in that game look incredibly like natural.
yeah.
But but then like you can't in that game you can't tell them to put down a specific road somewhere. The roads just basically auto generate. And I think I like that more than putting roads down on a grid.
Does it have that annoying thing with placed roads where all the curves you want to do block off the square buildings that you want to place around them?
Yeah. So there's been lots of times where like I've made curved roads to go out to like resource gatherers. So like a hunter that's way out there doing hunting, because there's like icons on the map that show where animals are, and so you that's where you want to put down a hunting lodge, a hunting cabin. And I'll just put a road that like connects, not really worrying about, I want the shortest distance, and sometimes that's a curve, and so that's fine until civilization starts creeping out further and further, and I start getting to that curved road, and I'm like, I got to get rid of this road, so I'll end up demolishing it and making like a straight road that like connects more on a grid.
Yeah.
I've like just had to do that a few times to like just do some whole like road works to rework some roads that used to be so far out in the wops that I didn't even care about them.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now civilization has caught up to them.
Frostpunk had this really annoying thing where everything in that game is based around a circle and these radiuses and segments.
Yep.
They were all like in sections.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was like in pizzas.
Yeah,
like
like
expanding
portions,
pizzas.
right? Yeah.
So a bunch of the buildings you would make would fit perfectly on one in a segment, but then because of the way that circles work, if you move it out a segment, it no longer fits perfectly.
Yeah.
So you would end up with like these real bung roads because you could only draw. No, you could put roads along any path, but if you wanted to just expand something, most of the time things wouldn't fit nicely anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd end up having to shuffle everything back, and you'd end up with all these like these roads that went straight half the way out the circle.
Yeah.
And then took like just a like one segment left and then back out again.
Oh, yeah.
And these big zigzags.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting thing to have to play with as a constraint.
Yeah.
But it also got in the way a bunch, with like these spaghetti.
Yeah,
roads.
I mean, that sounds like a puzzle, really. Like you're trying to Tetris a bunch of buildings together.
And most of the time you're playing games like this, you don't want to be dealing with circles ever. You want all these nice squares that all fit together.
The grids are definitely like the way to go. Oh yeah, absolutely. Although, grids do. I mean, grids work perfectly, but those villages that you make in Foundation just look so natural and real that I'm fine sacrificing efficiency for like aesthetics in that particular thing. It just that, especially with like there's rolling hills and stuff, and it's like all this like it's very, very cool. I really like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose if you're spending that long looking at it too, you do kind of want. Although there is an element of being pretty happy when something's all like segmented correctly.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that with Farthest Frontier, because like as buildings I put down get further and further out into the wilds, it's all on a grid. Everything eventually does end up on a grid, even if like I've just drawn a road from something way out in the middle of nowhere to like the closest kind of the closest road, and it can be on a curve, like that does look cool, because trying to work out, trying to have a straight road that goes so far out when you actually can't clearly see the grid itself. Like there's been times where, because you can move the road, very freely. It doesn't actually snap to a grid.
Yeah.
But it sort of snaps to a grid, but it's very loose. It's not like Anno that's like everything is on a grid. Like you can only draw on grids. You can do, you can. There's been times where I've thought I've drawn a straight road, and then I've gone to put a load of buildings next to it, and I'm like,
it just turns out it wasn't straight.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this road wasn't straight. I was like off, and now I can't put half the buildings I want down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like trying to have a perfectly straight road that goes miles out into the wilderness, just can't do it. So I'll just bend it. It's fine, and then change it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Farthest Frontier.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Early access still. Actually, early access, and they botched a recent patch. So one of the towns, the town I started before this one, I had done a similar thing where I'd picked out a perfect like defensible spot, and it was like a land bridge between like two bodies of water.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a long strip of land, and I was like, this is amazing, and I like capped off both ends with walls, and I was like, this is great. This is like the best defensible position, and I had heaps of land on this land bridge to build on. I was like, this is great, and I was like really looking forward to I came home looking forward to like continuing playing it, loaded it up. I saw, oh, they've got a new patch. They've like upgraded the stone in the game or something so that like you don't run out of stone as much. So there's the stone deposits are like more, you get more stone. Because I was definitely running into a situation where I was just mining out stone too fast from all the area around and having to go further and further out.
Yeah.
So they changed that. So you just have more stone. But there was a bug where existing games, all the stone in the entire map just disappeared.
Oh,
oh no. So you had to abandon that one.
And the thing is, I didn't realize for probably like almost an hour, I reckon.
Oh, no.
Because I did have enough stone for, what I was doing. Then I was like, I'm really running out of stone. What's going on? And I looked at where my stone mine was, and I was like, oh shit, it's like mined this out. I'll need to go find more. And so you can tell your guys, you can tell them to sort of waypoint to places, and then available villagers like laborers will go out and to that waypoint, so you can tell your guys to explore. So I was getting them to explore all around looking for stone. I'm like, where's the stone? There's no stone. And it probably took me like an hour until I went on to like their Reddit and looked this up, and they were like, oh yeah, we made a mistake. Any old saves, just stone is just gone from the entire thing. But any new games you start have all the stone changes.
That's so rough. Did they fix it in a later patch so that you could like reload the old save and it was fine now?
No, they fixed it, and then they were like, if you've already they'd fixed it so that if you loaded up that save, it would have fixed it unless you had saved during the bug.
Yep, because you've already saved it with no
and
stone.
I'd already saved during it, so it just was like, your map has no stone.
Yeah,
that's it.
You have to live on the wood.
I had to live off wood. Yeah, it was tough.
Go back to the wood age.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been playing for like the last 2 weeks. And
how many hours do you reckon you put in?
Just
out of curiosity.
I should look on Steam. I don't know. I should take a look. Because there were a few nights in a row that I was up past midnight playing it.
Okay.
It has that thing of like just one more turn.
Yeah, just a bit more.
Yeah, just a bit more. I'll be like, oh, just when this building's done, and then when this is done. Yeah, just yeah, and then before I know it, it's like 2 a.m. I'm like, I've made a mistake.
Just look for stone one more time.
Yeah, I was so pissed too because I came home so excited to play it.
Yeah,
and because I was so happy with because the maps are random. And I was so happy I'd just gotten like this perfect map that I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do here. And I'd already played for like I don't know, 3, maybe 4 hours on that map.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So do you start out just with like a few people and you got to explore to find a place where you want a town?
You start out you start with a screen that that displays some of the map,
Right.
not all of it. Like there's a big radius. It doesn't show all the map, but there's a huge radius that you can then put your town hall down at. At that point, there's no people on it. It's just a blank thing where you're basically like selecting, this is where I want to start.
Yeah.
That's really it. And then once you do that, the like building site gets put down, and then all your guys appear around it. They also have a oxen cart, which functions as a mobile resource storage,
Right.
which is kind of cool.
So you kind of be nomadic if you wanted.
Yeah. So you can, like, if you, I don't know, I've not really found a practical reason for it yet.
They're just like, hey, let's add some ox carts.
Yeah, it's just like you've got this ox cart that starts off with all your resources in it, and you can just move it to wherever for people to just put resources into. I guess it's a thing of like if you've got a load of if you've got like foragers, like berry pickers out in an area, that they will store that food in that building, but it has a really low storage capability. So I guess if you move, like you could have the oxen cart sit next to it, so then that could get stored up with food instead until you build a proper storage thing somewhere else.
Bandits raid your ox carts.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, and I don't know what happens if you lose the oxen. I've really just left it basically like in town.
Yeah.
I've not had it out anywhere.
It's weird. It feels like it should be a integral part. of the
Yeah, I
game.
just don't know how to use it. I've seen.
I suppose it's for if you want to start branching out further, right? And you need
Well,
resources.
move a bunch of resources
Yeah.
to a different
Well,
location.
that's the thing is that like you can't specifically move resources from storehouses.
Ah.
Like you can't, like that's what I thought was like, if I load up a load of like wood or something on this and I can move it out to one of these suburbs that I'm building, that would be great. But I can't specifically say I only want wood, like I can't specifically say load this up with wood and stone.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a move, it's just a moving general resource storage. You can tell it
That's
not
real
to stock
weird.
stuff,
Yeah.
but then it just automatically gets stocked. And I don't know. I don't know.
You should just
And
leave it for the bandits.
And because there's loads of stuff in there, like
Orcs.
there's loads of stuff like weapons and stuff in there. I don't want to just take it out to a random to like one of these suburbs I'm building, because it's got loads of other stuff in there that I don't want stolen, and I don't know how I don't know how to get that transferred into the main storehouse. I don't know. I don't get it.
Weird.
Yeah, because there's other like that Foundation game. You can tell storehouses to only you can actually get shift stuff from storehouses. Yeah. Like you pretty much set it up within the options of the building.
Yeah,
and then
to only hold this sort of thing.
Yeah, and then your little
and
guys will
shuffle
do
it
that.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could actually maybe get it to work, because there are like in the Oxen there are all these like tick boxes on all the resources. So it's like saying, so I can untick all of them except wood and stone. But then I don't know how to specifically tell it to do that, because
Maybe the general labor is just
do it. But I've also got stockpile like buildings that stockpile wood and stone near where the wood and stone is being harvested. So I want to say take it from there and put it in here, but I can't seem to get it to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll just move it over there and see what happens. Maybe they'll just load that up. I don't know. I basically just ignored that, and I feel like that is some sort of integral feature of the game.
it sounds like it should be.
Yeah, I don't know how
something
to use
there.
It. Yeah.
I guess wouldn't it be a temporary storage? So like, let's say you put it in between a bunch of, like farms and wood and stone.
Yeah.
That are all nearby, and they all just throw everything into it, and then it just when it's full, it goes back to your town to unload.
It doesn't move by itself. You move it. It's basically the only unit in the game that only you control.
Right.
Like it'll otherwise it'll just sit where it is and just act as a storehouse, and then you can tell it to move somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I've seen streamers building like buildings out in the WAPs of their maps, and they've got like that oxen sitting there next to it. So somehow, like, people are using it. I just don't.
Yeah.
I've literally just not. I've just straight up ignored it. Like I've forgotten I even have it.
Just hangs around.
It just hangs around. I even made like a little parking spot for it. I was like, okay, you just
built in now.
Yeah, you just stay there.
We'll just build these markets around you.
Yeah, pretty much did. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Early access. It's good.
Nice.
Worth it. Well, that's it from us. Thanks for listening, and I think Nick will be back next time. Pretty sure he'll be back.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see you then. If you have any questions, or if you want to email us for anything, our email address is frontseatquestions@gmail.com. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell.
YouTube algorithm.
All that
good stuff.
There's another thing on YouTube that's what is it? There's another thing that's like, follow or something. I don't know.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Comments, good.
Yep. Hit us up on our Facebook. Which is
write us letters. I don't know where to, but write a letter.
Yep,
send it.
We'll get them, put them in a bottle, throw them out to the ocean.
Yeah,
a turtle will bring it.
Yeah,
in its choked body.
Jesus.
All right, cool. All right, thanks guys. Thanks Fabian for coming. Good. It was great.
Cool.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
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 Farewell.
Farewell.
Well, Skyrim, they actually keep re-releasing, though.
Yeah.
Like, how many releases of Skyrim are we up to?
I don't know. I haven't bought Skyrim since 2011, since the very first one. And I'm like, maybe I should get the more recent one with all the, like, updates and everything and, like, graphics improvements and all that sort of stuff.
Skyrim on
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I pirated it. Because Skyrim was, like, ages ago.
Yeah, it's 2011.
I don't have money.
It's over 10 years ago. 11 years ago now.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Huh.
It came out 2011, I remember.
Yeah.
It was 11/11/11.
Right.
November 11 was its release. Yeah, it was,
Yeah,
eh?
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
11,
I told
11.
you. I remember. I was counting down the days.
Man, Todd Howard, he loves re-releasing his games.
Yeah. Well, Skyrim just works. Skyrim just keeps going. Like, not like Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has not been anywhere near as like its life has been nowhere near as long as Fallout.
Well, it didn't even really succeed that much in the first place, right?
What's that?
Fallout 4 didn't succeed that well in the first place.
No, not really. Fallout 3 was, but like it's still like Fallout 3 came out like
that was when I was a teen.
When did that come out? But like Fallout
2008.
Holy heck. Fallout 3 was great, but still, like, it didn't last as long as Skyrim. Skyrim's just been going. I remember I got into Bethesda games when I was on a 3D course. I was doing a 3D course just a year out of high school in my hometown.
Yeah.
And one of the guys on the course just one day hands me a burned disc that said Morrowind on it. And he's like, here, man, take this. I think you'll really like it. And I was like, okay. And then I tried it and was like, oh, my God, this game is amazing.
Yeah.
It, like, blew my mind. And then I went to my mate's place, and I was like raving about this game. It's like it was like nothing I'd played before.
I didn't even get into Morrowind, and I actually did try it, but I remember just being so lost.
Yeah,
because that game starts out and you don't get any direction. Right?
Yep,
No,
that's what I liked. I was like, this is incredible, and I was just like, because you get off the boat and then you're in the town. And you're in a town.
Yeah,
and you can talk to people. And I'm like, okay, and then there's just like 2 roads that kind of go out of town. I was like, I'll just walk down one of these roads and see where it leads.
I'm pretty sure I just went somewhere, died, and was like, fuck this game.
Yeah. Its combat was a bit like crap, but
it's pretty janky.
Man, I think what Morrowind had that the other like Oblivion and Skyrim didn't have was that the map is completely covered in fog of war.
Yeah.
And so you don't even know what's out there. That's the thing. Like in all the other games, you see the map, but you discover the points of interest along the way, but you see the whole map to begin with.
Yeah.
And so like
you're so blind in Morrowind, eh?
Yeah, in Morrowind you literally don't know what's down that road. So you just go and everything's a new discovery.
Yeah, it was good. I'd always, when I played that, I remember going into one of the towns, and I was like, "Oh, you can just attack anyone at any time."
Yeah,
you attack some guards, and then the whole city's after you. Like I played an Argonian.
Yep,
and I was always baffled. I was like, "Why can't he put shoes on?" Because
he's got lizard feet.
Lizard feet. He had like little ankle bracelets. Like, damn, I want to cover my ugly feet.
Yeah. Oh man, that game. The thing that really hooked me on that game. There was a quest line where you start doing quests for like the Imperial Guard, like basically the police of that area, and one of them was dealing with like corruption in the Imperial Guard, and completing that quest, you end up with a wanted. You end up wanted by the Imperial Guard, and so the main base, the main Imperial like base that you were getting your quests from, if you walk near it, they attack you.
Yeah,
and so you have to like. I just was like, what am I gonna do? I need to go. I need to get in and talk to the guy and tell him about this. Tell him that I've like finished the quest and like basically. I mean, I need to go and hand in the quest essentially, and so I just like snuck around and found a back door and like snuck my way in there into the dude's room. And then he's like, "Oh, you made it back. Great, blah, 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 whatever." And then he's like, "I've cleared you of all like charges. Like you're free to go." And then I just walked out and I was like, that's like the coolest thing to me.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Especially because it's the quest about corruption and then clearly they turn on you.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was just so cool because there's no direction at all. It's just like, okay, now talk to, you've dealt with this corrupt like officer or whoever by killing him and therefore getting a wanted level. So now just go hand in that quest. But he's in the heart of a fortress full of guys that are gonna kill you now because you've
just been
level.
Investigating.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It'd be funny how you get a quest and it's like, go to this town and the map's just covered in fog of war. You're like, I have no idea. There's no marker that even vaguely you
used to have to read the road sign.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, go to this town, and then you'd see the road sign and go, oh, it's that way. I'll just follow this road. Loved it.
Yeah.
If I made a game, I'd be doing that, man. Just like fog of war the map.
Yeah. I think that's quite cool. It's pretty hardcore.
There was a thing with Elden Ring too where like you spend a long time just trying to understand how big the world is.
Yeah.
And if you have the entire thing in a fog of war, then for a while there, the game is almost infinite.
Yeah.
Or like it could be. So you get like this way bigger sense of scale.
Yeah, because you kind of just want to explore everything rather than just finding key points of interest.
Yeah.
Slowly expand the map.
Yeah. Well, I hate that thing where games have you go up a tower and it reveals a region.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
That
do you
just as a
feel about that
mechanic,
in Elden Ring though? Because it does basically that.
Yeah. Like it's disappointing every time.
Yeah.
I also really liked Horizon.
Yeah.
And that had the same thing where you
Yeah.
climb the things, and
Oh, that's right. It
As-
did. Yeah.
especially when it reveals markers on the map that you then need to go collect, really takes the immersion out of a game for me, and completely takes away that sense of like exploration or whatever. It's now just climb the thing, find the markers.
Yeah, all you do is go, you just are like, okay, I'm in a new area. There's the thing I need to climb, and that's it.
It's I'm pretty sure, was it Assassin's Creed that started it?
Yeah, with the like towers, right?
Yeah.
You jump off them.
And then it marks everything on the map that you got to like. That was fine for a game, but it became kind of a trope across a whole bunch of open world games, and
it became the Ubisoft standard.
Yeah,
because I remember that in like Far Cry 3.
Yeah,
they were doing that. You climbed a radio tower and then revealed some part of the map. Like it was like
that is the Ubisoft thing, eh?
Yeah,
go up something, reveal the map, go and liberate bases, do it again.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it became like the Ubisoft formula.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, even like Zelda has it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zelda though, I don't know.
Well, didn't in Zelda you have to
It just revealed
use
the map,
like,
didn't it?
but
Didn't
can you
actually
use
show
like
stuff.
binoculars or something to see something in the distance and then it would show up in your map?
Oh, yeah.
Was that Zelda?
Yeah. You could look at stuff in the binoculars and through the binoculars do a like map pin.
Yeah.
And to for a point of interest,
Mm.
and then on the map it shows that. So like the map could just be blank, and you just see this like pin in it.
Ah, yeah.
But also,
It was a beam of light.
yeah.
eh?
Also, you'll see it in the real world as a beam of light. So you
Yeah.
can just head to it. So like,
See,
it
that's
wasn't
kind of a
really
cool
relying
mechanic.
on. It wasn't relying as much as other games on that whole like climb a tower, reveal it. Like you could literally play that game without ever revealing any areas.
Yeah, that's kind of what high points should really just be used for, is to like
Actual
manually-
vantage points.
yeah, and like manually pin stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, I actually want to go there. It's not I have to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's really cool.
Hmm.
More open world games should just do that. Give you that sense of exploration on your own.
Mm.
So yeah, it's
Especially because of like, if you can visually see that there is something there worth checking out, you really don't need any other way of telling people to go there.
yeah.
If there's like a castle in the distance, people are going to go to the castle.
I think that's why Zelda was so good at it.
Yeah.
It just always there was always something interesting in the distance to go to from almost anywhere in the game.
Mm.
And you see one of the first things you see is that one of the bird guardian way off in the distance.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that? You know, and then you see the castle a little bit in the like more close distance, and then there's like ruins and stuff really nearby. There's always just something interesting to go to. And like I would forget to climb up those towers because I go into a new region and spend so long exploring it and then go, oh, I should probably like reveal this area now. Yeah. We should start the podcast.
Yeah, probably. We're doing a bunch of talking about games.
That's fine. It'll end up.